And Ms. Hanabusa.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, will we be able to put some questions in writing to the Secretary of State as though he's left? Thank you very much. Thank you, Secretary Hagel. Good to see you again, and of course, General Dempsey. My question is about really what all of this means. First of all, I don't think there's anyone here that in any way condones the heinous use of the chemical weapons. I think that's a given. However, what we're here for is about the resolution and how we proceed from here. One of the things in reading both yours and Secretary Kerry's statements, and I don't know if you can answer Secretary Kerry's statement, but he says that, of course, they're waiting for the proposal. This is the one that we've been discussing all morning, but we're not waiting long. Is there a time limit that the administration is willing to wait for that proposal? Is there anything like a week, 2 weeks?
I don't know of a specific amount of hours or days, Congresswoman. I think the President mentioned this specifically last night in the 6 interviews he did, Secretary Kerry did, but I think it's pretty clear that that proposal has to come rapidly. I haven't seen the developments here in the last few hours other than what Secretary Kerry announced here on the agreement with some of the countries that he noted to go before the UN. So I would assume this is on a very fast track, and I think the President has made that clear. Thank you.
Secretary Hagel, we know that the issues of deter and degrade, that's our objective. And the deter and degrade seem to reference, or I thought it referenced, basically the chemical weapons or the stockpiles of the chemical weapons. And what we're here is to hear how, of course, General Dempsey says that it's going to be a very limited, directed, tailored, and I think precision has always also been the adjectives used, limiting the possibility of any kind of injury to the civilian population, but notwithstanding, we could anticipate some kind of collateral damage. And I thought that was also in line with the ultimate goal, which is that we all know that everyone is saying that whatever military action is taken will not resolve the issues regarding the chemical weapons. It would just deter at best or degrade at best. But that what would be required would be a diplomatic resolution. That is why your statement in your testimony that says a political solution created by the Syrian people is the only way to ultimately end the violence in Syria, and Secretary Kerry is helping lead international efforts to help the parties in Syria to move towards a negotiated transition. The word negotiated transition is what caught my eye, because we have said continually that we are not engaged in any kind of a quote-unquote regime change. Yet a negotiated transition seems to imply a regime change. And the reference to the Geneva II status in Secretary Kerry's statement, is my understanding, also references to a potential regime change. So are we looking to, when we talk about a diplomatic resolution on this limited resolution, are we looking to a diplomatic resolution on the use of chemical weapons, or are we looking to a diplomatic resolution towards a negotiated transition for the Syrian people, which seems to mean regime change?
Well, 2 specific issues. One, the resolution is defined clearly, narrowly, and the language speaks for itself, and I think we have, I hope, cleared most of that up. And I don't know if you've seen the Senate Foreign Relations Committee resolution that they passed last week, but it defines it. It's very clear in scope, in length, in all that probably is necessary in an authority like this, at least in the eyes of the Senate committee. And the administration can work with that authorization. The second part of your question is the policy of this administration that, as stated by President Obama, that President Assad has lost the credibility to govern his country. But this specific resolution that talks about this specific request is not about regime change, two separate issues.
Thank you, Mr.
Gentlelady's time expired.